Okay, so now we're on to the second truth. That's going to help us be kind of a building block to figure out how electric guitars work. So this one is something that we've already done, but it's something helpful to kind of reiterate and go over again. So we said, okay, the second thing we're going to look at is that current can create a magnetic field. We saw that one video in that magnet lab where we have current running through those big wires, and we said based on our second right-hand rule, that current is a magnetic field is created around those wires when we run current through them. So we saw that happen. We have physical evidence of it happening. And we also did a few things that kind of helped us out with that helped us reiterate that point. We looked at that solenoid. We predicted what happens when we put a magnet inside of that solenoid, which I'm going to Google a solenoid, or I already did it. Solenoid. We put a magnet in this coil of wire, and we ran current through it, and we saw that magnet kind of spin until it aligned itself with that magnetic field. So there's another piece of evidence that when we have this coil of wire and we run current through it, we create a magnetic field inside of that coil of wire that is kind of aligned. I know I had a picture of it in the slides, but here we go. That is aligned within that field. So it's kind of acting as a magnet. Just to kind of reiterate that point one more time, I just have some little, I guess I already have these pulled up. It's kind of lame. These are lame little demos, but here I have the solenoid hooked up to the battery. When we run current through it, oh look, those iron filings kind of align themselves so that we have a magnetic field within the solenoid. They kind of align themselves in there. And then we also have over here, we have two wires. When they're in series, we have one time the current's running this way and one time the current's running that way. So we see they're running in opposite directions. They create magnetic fields away from themselves, around based on our second right-hand rule, and then force each other away. And in this case, they're running the same direction and they are pulled towards each other. So that's kind of what we saw in that magnet lab video. So that's just to reiterate this point that when we have this coil of wire, this coil, in our case of a solenoid, this coil of copper wire, when we run current through it, we create a magnetic field. So that's going to be a big idea when we are moving forward. So that's going to be the kind of next thing that we are looking at.